Hello viewers, my name's Victoria Nabitaka Makumbi.
It's good to actually see you here on set. So we'd just like to know, what has your journey been like? What was the dream growing up?
As a child,
Yes, yes.
this might surprise you. I just recall back in the day, with my demeanor being calm and quiet,
Yeah.
I think I must have been about 7 or 8 years old. I come from a background of very devout Catholics.
Oh, interesting.
And what Catholics do usually, it's like pride having a member of the family being in the religious circle.
Okay.
Either having a nun or a priest or a brother or something like that.
Okay.
So we used to have a number of visitors coming home from the clergy. So they spot Victoria. And they're like, Victoria ought to become a nun.
Wow, interesting.
And now, at such an early age,
Yes.
I was like, wow, being even spotted to be a nun was a very good thing, because it meant probably you fitted into those norms.
Yeah, there was something about you.
Something about you. Yes. So my parents had actually gone ahead to sort of enroll me in that line.
Okay.
Until one of the elderly priests that were family friends of ours just said, you know what, please don't take that girl into that direction. Let her continue studying and then let her make the decision herself if at all she so wishes to be.
So this was at the age of 7, 10?
Yes, about 7, between 7 and 10, but I have some vivid memories, and then everyone in the family keeps talking about it. So that's how Victoria, I don't call it survived, or moved from probably being a possible nun to being in tax administration.
Okay.
So that's one of the vivid memories I have about my childhood.
Yes.
But growing up again, I come from a family that is, I've already talked about the fact that it's a very devout Catholic.
Yes.
So we've been set in that standard of being, strict.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do things in a certain way, so we've been taken to such schools.
Yes.
Part of my education was in one of these Catholic schools, Namagunga. You're not supposed to step on the lawn. You're not supposed to do this.
Very
disciplined.
At
a certain period of time, you're supposed to be at mass at this time. So you grow up feeling that that's the norm. So that's a little bit about Victoria and my experiences growing up.
Okay, so you go to Namagunga, and then where did you go for university?
Oh yes.
And what did you study? Something that led you to
come to tax.
Yes.
I went to Namagunga, yes, for my education in secondary.
Yes.
But even before Namagunga, I'd been, that's where I did my secondary education.
Yes.
But before that, still, I'd been in different places, and my parents used to move because of job-related stuff.
Yes.
So we'd have to move to a few different countries. But yes, I finished my education there.
Okay.
And then I did my university from Europe.
Oh, okay.
So I finished my master's from the University of Nottingham in the United Kingdom, where I did a master's in economic development and policy analysis.
Yes.
And then the first degree was in statistics and economics.
Okay.
Yes. Amazingly, now after finishing my education, I remained in Europe, UK, not for so long, just a few months doing some work. And then my father was like, you need to come back home.
Okay.
So I had the privilege of coming back to Uganda, and then straight from university, because I just worked in the UK for just a few months. Came back to Uganda, and my first employment was the Uganda Revenue Authority. Wow. So still as a young lady, I joined the Uganda Revenue Authority, and I've grown with it, I must say, because I've served in the authority for about 20 years.
Nice.
I've grown through the ranks. I joined as we used to call it SARO. It's a Senior Assistant Revenue Officer.
Oh, nice.
And then I was promoted to a senior revenue officer, that is a SRO.
Okay.
Then at about that time, we had a restructuring in URA.
Okay.
And that experience
Do you
was
remember
quite...
the year?
That was 2005.
Okay.
In 2005, that's when we had the major restructuring. This restructuring had some emotions, because I remember in 2005 is the year when I was actually planning to get married.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
you can imagine the emotions, because the way it came was like, now they made an announcement from this time on. I mean, there's nothing.
This is
There are
going
no
to
jobs.
change.
You're like,
This is
okay,
going to happen.
getting married, and you're not sure whether you'll get the job. So after that, it was clarified that the first opportunity would be to us who are within the authority.
Okay.
So the applications began. They began from the top, and then they trickled down to different layers.
So you had to reapply for that job?
Yes, we had to reapply for the positions. And then from the commissioners, deputies, and then various levels until, and they then post it, like the ones who have gone through get, and those who haven't, I mean, you have no job. So it was a bit of a difficult moment, but we thank God that at restructuring, I was appointed as a supervisor, because we changed the ranking, the structure changed. From before, we had a multi-layered structure with various positions. We had assistant revenue officer, we had the SARO, which is senior assistant revenue officer, then we had senior revenue officer, then principal revenue officer, then senior principal revenue officer. Then
that
we
was
had
a lot of multi-layers right there.
Assistant, I think now a commissioner, then a deputy commissioner, then a commissioner. So there were many.
Yes.
So at restructuring, these were merged.
Yeah.
And they became fewer. Then we had officer, I think officer 1, 2, 3. Then we had supervisor, then managers, and then assistant commissioners. Okay. So at restructuring, I became a supervisor, and I think that's about the time in customs.
Yes.
And again, I must say I was privileged to have been practicing what I actually studied. Because I was doing, as a supervisor, planning and statistics. So it gave me an opportunity to practice
exactly
what my profession was.
Yes.
Then after the supervisor in customs, after a few years, about 4 or 5 years, I was promoted to a manager in the Department of Customs, which I served in that capacity for a number of years.
Yes.
And then about 2021, I think, I was again promoted to an assistant commissioner, a position I've served until to date, basically, yes.
Wow, I like the growth that you've mentioned, the fact that you studied something and now you did it, you practiced it. Now, I would like to know, with all this growth, what is it about you? What are your strong suits that have led you through this change, the roles, the growth, you know? Not everyone, I'm sure not everyone passed through that restructuring. Yeah, what is it? What are your strong suits?
Okay, thank you for that. I think what I must say is through the years, some of the, I'll call them, you've asked whether they're strong points or the strengths and all, but what has driven me over the years, being focused. Because like I said, I joined straight from university, and now if you choose, or I chose to have my career path within the authority as a tax administrator. So I now deliberately purposed to grow myself in tax administration, because you come in with these degrees in various disciplines, mine being economics and statistics, and then being a tax administrator requires you to have certain skills as well. So I now purposed to get the skills, so I got the necessary certifications in tax administration, right, in customs, having the various courses that I undertook, valuation, tariff classification, rules of origin, to name but a few. The objective of this was to understand the work that you're doing, to to be able to do it to the best of your ability and to be competitive.
Okay.
Another thing is being resilient. Being resilient because sometimes as you're doing work, you find that it's not always easy. There are times you talked about the restructuring, you're not sure whether
you're still around or you're leaving.
And even the work, like through the ranks, there are different things that happen, but you need to be focused and you need to be resilient. You need to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, true.
And this can help you reach the desired result at the end of the day. And also, what has driven me again is being committed. If you remember, I talked about that non-staff and all those qualities from the schools we've been in. Some of them, they help. So when you're given certain tasks, the dedication and the commitment you put into it, it is seen by your superiors and those that you lead.
True.
So that has helped me a lot as well.
Okay.
And as a leader as well, the ability to harness team cohesion in my team.
Okay.
Because many times they say if you're working with people, sometimes people leave people. That's what it's not the entity. It's not the entity, but they actually leave people. They're like, I'm tired of this job, but when you drill down to it, it's my boss. I don't know, they've done this and all that. So you leave it. It's just cause of probably one individual and maybe a few peers. So what I've learned over the years and also through various training, leaderships and all, it's important to have a cohesive team.
Okay.
Once you have a cohesive team, they'll help you deliver results. So they do not want to disappoint you. They're like, at times you need to work long hours or you have assignments that have come at very short notice, but you call them and they do it. So they're like, we do not want to disappoint Vicky, we do not want to, as in they feel a sense of ownership of self. But even to arrive at that, it's something that as a leader you need to build. It just doesn't come. You need to invest in it. So what I've learned or done over the years, what I remember, or some of the stories that some of the staff have led, some have probably since moved to different areas, they usually remember the things that you did for them as a person. It's not even about the work and all, but they come back and they say, oh, I see this, I remember the time when you came and visited my sick child, or when you came to attend my wedding, or when you did. So those soft things, they mean quite a lot to people, and it actually has to be genuine. But it doesn't mean that as a leader you just have to please people, but there's a thin line of balance between giving guidance and maybe correcting them when they're wrong. So you have to have a firm hand, but then you also have to have this empathy with the team that you lead. Having a support mechanism is another thing that has helped me reach where I've reached so far. Again, being a woman in tax administration, like I said, I came in as a young lady, 2005 restructuring. I'm preparing for my wedding, so you get, as a result of that, you get a family, children and all that. But the work that you do sometimes requires you to be away from home, requires you to work long hours, so you need to have some very strong support network and support systems. So these have helped. For others, it could be maybe religious groups or leaders or friends. In my case, it's mainly been family. They've been very supportive. They've been understanding where you need to probably travel and spend long times away from home, where you need to work late, so that they close the gaps. Obviously, I cannot forget to mention the support that I've received from my religious support network. Because prayer, because God helps us in so many things. When you feel really you can't go on, there are those moments that come. But
those moments, sometimes
there's
you're
those
challenged.
moments you're challenged. But I must say that they've also been the spiritual leaders They counsel you where you feel things are not going on well. The prayers and the support in various ways has been very fundamental in the journey that I've had so far in the tax authority.
Yes.
And I think what has helped a lot is not being, having the knowledge and the competence in the things that I lead. So I also, I'm grateful for that, because at times if you're placed in areas where you probably might be the leader, but you depend a lot on your juniors to do all the work. But once you actually know how to do it, you're in the kitchen, you're a cook, but you can actually cook. So if someone falls sick, you'll go in and do the cooking. So you don't have to come and tell them, you're on drip, please come and do this. We have a party coming on. So in my case, it's been the same. I stand with them if they have problems. As long as you inform me, I'll close the gap. We'll do the over the ranks, as it's been from supervisor.
That's interesting to know. You know, someone would not imagine that Vicky would come all the way from AC, has AC chair, and come and do officer.
And I was now running from as I grew through the ranks. Right now as AC, yes, there are those things that I might do. Probably it might not be as much as it was as a supervisor or as a manager, but still you cover the gap. Because if they have some challenges and you're able, it's not about give me this report at this time, they can submit and then you patch it up so that they're able to do different things. But also being there for them, like if they know that you've got their back in case of problems. So you reprimand, you've gone in a meeting, things didn't go so well. So yeah, you know what didn't go right, but you'll not outrightly
saying
you're also on the other side, why didn't you? So if you've got their back, they also feel that they can depend on you. So in return, they do what they're supposed to do, and as a result, the team excels.
Yes. So away from work, you indicated somewhere that you're preparing for your wedding in around 2005. How did it go?
On my wedding in 2005. Back in the day, we're now in 2023. That's over about 17 years ago, I think, 16, 17 years back. And from the snippet I've told you of religious and all that, much as I'd have preferred maybe something quiet and you go and have it somewhere, but it's made a bit big. How the wedding went, obviously parents from both sides are involved. It's actually, a wedding is not about you alone. It's no longer it's about the other families. So they come in and they help make it a success. But I just recall, as I was preparing for the wedding, we have what we call kuchala, because I'm a Muganda. But what I vividly recall is as we were preparing for that kuchala, I had an assignment where I had to go to northern Uganda. And at that time in northern Uganda, it was a bit not very safe. So you had to have a lead car that you need to move with, so that probably the car doesn't go on landmines. So I've been sent to go for this assignment. But on Saturday, when I have a so I was like, Victoria, how are you going to do this? But they really helped. So I come back around Friday and find when they've done everything. We go to saloon and all went well. So that's a highlight I remember quite well. But the wedding went fine, I think. At that time, we'd go to hotels that quite... okay, depending on what you want, but at least we chose Imperial Botanical Hotel. That's where we had a wedding. I like scenery, I like water bodies. So does my husband as well. Actually, from that, so it helped us have a choice in where we have our home. Actually live very close to water. Just not so in Munyonyo, just very close to water. You know how to swim? Yes, I do. I do know how to swim. So it has a calming effect. So at the end of the day, whenever you have a hard day, you're able to, at least I'm able to see the water from a distance, and then it calms me down.
Wow, that's nice. You have children?
Yes, I do.
Oh, how many?
I have 3 children.
Nice.
One of them, volleyball is in year 10. Another one is the other two are in primary school. One is in P6 and the other is coming to primary 1. So there's some spacing.
Very good spacing. It's not even some. It's
About
good
very
spacing.
good space. About 5 years
In
thereabouts
between.
for each of them. Yes.
Wow. You have a very nice motherly aura.
Wow.
You know.
Thank you.
So as a mother, they're all boys or girls?
No, I have 2 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, what is it like to be a mom?
Being a mom, it's fine, but actually now as a parent, there's usually the strict one and then there's the one, and you'll guess who the strict one is, Victoria.
No.
Different being come she is.
You don't look like the strict one.
I am very, I'm strict,
I think
but
you're
also firm. Actually,
Yeah.
the word
I
is
think
firm.
you're firm.
Very firm, because as mothers, you know, as we're growing up, your mom just stands and gives you that look,
That iron, you
and
know.
you'll just take back whatever that you had picked without having to, just even one look. So I think being a mother is a fulfilling experience.
Wow. Okay.
In office, actually, many of my staff refer to me, like you've said. You hear, like when you're around, they say, they call you mom. Because of the comfort that you give them.
Yes.
You go a little way and find out how they're doing, because they also have challenges. Right now the workforce has lots of young people.
Yes.
You give advice where you feel you can, you draw from your experiences. So someone who was a bit down, like to
They
be
feel
okay
better.
with their personal challenges. Some young boy, not times we think that it's only girls who are heartbroken, but even the young boys do. I found that they are. So you find then you're like, oh, what happened? And he tells you, you know what, you see, this girl, so now you're like, oh, you cried together and you feel, so he feels uplifted. But the truth is, even then, but there's this mentality that it's only the girls, but even the boys suffer. So having that, the touch, both at work
Yes.
and at home,
Oh, yeah.
helps them to feel comfortable.
Yes.
Because they know, like you talked about being a mother, that's one person who is there for you regardless. They'll probably be firm, like you've said, but not in a bad way. So they know that whatever you're doing is for their good.
So how do you balance between being a mom and also a boss at work without having to give up either side of them? Because sometimes you may be too nice, you may be too soft, and yet there's work to be done.
That's true. That's a good question. I think that's the work-life balance thing, the equation. How do you balance between work and life? And then how do you balance between being a mother and work? Being too nice, because again, if you're too nice, you can easily be taken advantage of, or probably that's what it is. But like as we've been talking, I said I'm quite firm, and they all say yes, she's nice, but once she needs her work, it's just like, okay, we're doing this. You're meant to give me this assignment within this time. Then ask them when they are able to deliver. So if you tell me maybe tomorrow at 4, let it be tomorrow at 4. And if you're not able to, probably inform, and then we're able to balance. But how I've been able to balance work and life, I talked about the support networks.
Yes,
These have been very instrumental, because at times you get abrupt assignments that require you to move, and having a stable support network helps you. It could be your immediate family, it could be a bit extended. As they're young children, you can have to maybe drop the babies off to your mother, or to your sister, or to live with a husband, depending. So you need to have this. It has been quite helpful, because it has helped me to be able to do my work and at peace, and be able to perform.
So what do you do for fun? Speaking about work-life balance.
What,
What do you
what
do?
does Victoria do for fun?
Yes.
What Victoria does for fun, I like listening to music.
Okay.
in my quiet time, actually fun is about, I can move out with the trusted friends and be in a place that is calming, with nature. We like going out. I've talked about these water bodies. It's just where we live. But apart from that, just spending quality time with the people that mean something to me.
Okay.
Yes.
That is so sweet. What has been your biggest career highlight so far from 2005 to date?
From 2005. Actually, my career dates before 2005.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, I think the restructuring made me feel like you started from there.
I began from the restructuring. That was, but still from 2005. A highlight, because from 2005 I said after we restructured, and that's also correct. When I was appointed as a supervisor, became a manager. And then assistant commissioner. But the highlight, I'll say, that was around September 2020.
Okay.
That year, that was during COVID.
Yes, that was correct.
September 2020 was a very painful time in my life. During that COVID period, I actually lost my father. He succumbed to COVID-19. It was very traumatic.
Yes.
Because, many times when you lose a loved one, we're very close, fathers and daughters.
Yes.
I've not been able to talk about this for a while because it's very painful. But during that period, as I think he died on the same day as my birthday, the day I was born, 12th of September. Very difficult time. So he was buried about 10 days later, as we were doing the arrangements of a funeral.
Yes.
So after that, I'd taken leave, compassionate, you're trying to mourn. As I was mourning, I get phone calls. I was at home. And everyone is congratulating me. It's like, oh, congratulations, Victoria. I'm like, congratulations.
You're not understanding what's going on.
I mean,
Are you mourning?
I mean, my staff, I don't want to see people and all that. So like, oh, you've been appointed as an acting commissioner, an acting assistant commissioner in charge of compliance and business analysis. I'm like, okay. So I check my mail. They tell me, check your mail. And then I do check my mail, and I've actually been appointed to act in the capacity of Assistant Commissioner in Customs during that time. So I was like, wow, this is very good. But it's come at a time
when you're actually
when I'm mourning. So do I complete my mourning period, or do I now come back to work hardly 2 weeks into the burial of my father? Ron knew now she's going to just lose it. So I had to pick up my pieces and reported for duty after about 3 weeks. So, and when I reported to duty, I talked to my supervisor. I was like, I've come, but I'm still not very fine. I think I would need more time to move. I said, Vicky, I think it would be nice if you manage to see how, because even being at work will help you to balance. So I think that was one of my highlights in my career, because at a time that was sad, something positive came out of it. And from then, after acting for a few months, I was confirmed into that position of Assistant Commissioner, Compliance and Business Analysis, appointed by the Commissioner General, Mr. John Rujoti. I appreciate him so much for the opportunity. And after about a year, again, I was redeployed.
So how would you describe Vicky in 3 words?
How would I describe Vicky in 3 words? Vicky is a calm person. Vicky is a very loyal person.
Right.
But Vicky is also very committed and loyal to whatever she sets herself to do.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. So this is a Women in Tax show.
Yes.
What would you tell to young women, ladies who are struggling to work, you know, and also fight all these challenges of being a lady in a man's world? There are challenges that come with it. There are women who thrive in it, just like you. So yeah, what would you tell young ladies?
What I would like to tell young ladies is to believe in themselves.
Yes.
Actually, sometimes I'm in some meetings, like you said, it's a men's world. And you just realize at the end of the day, after you've taken all these pictures, that you are among ladies. You're the only lady amongst many men. So you don't even think about it. You don't think of yourself as different from them, because it's like you're there because of the skill that you possess.
Yes,
so what I would encourage the young ladies, even the men themselves, is to always believe in yourself. Because once you do, you do not think that probably I'm not good enough. That sort of undermines what you're able to do. They also need to stand out for what is right.
Okay.
Because when you believe something is right, you need to be able to follow through with it. Sometimes there is the tendency for ladies to be laid back a bit.
Yes.
And even when you're supposed to do something, you feel you leave the opportunity to the male counterpart, and then you miss out on a few things because of that, either family commitment. So as much as possible, they need to also be very confident and do whatever opportunity comes their way.
Yes.
But another thing I'd like to encourage the ladies out there and the young men is to self-develop.
Okay.
Because in tax administration, like you said, at entry level, at least we would all have the minimum requirements.
Yes.
But you need to build yourself in terms of capacity, have the relevant skills that are required, requisite skills. If it's in IT, get all these certifications, even in tax, have the courses. So when an opportunity avails itself, you're ready.
Yes.
You have it and you can compete favorably. So it's important to always upgrade oneself and to have a positive mind and being focused in whatever you do.
Okay.
Yes.
It's really nice to hear your story. You said you studied in Europe and then you came here. Despite the masters you already had, you still continue to self-develop. You got these certificates in tax administration systems. You learned the system, you got through it, and it's interesting. Like, you're very calm, and yet at the same time you're ambitious. Someone may not know what to call you. Like, I'm struggling to know the real Vicky, you know. You look like you're very calm. So for you, in your opinion, do you think tax is something that is hard or easy?
Okay, would I think that tax is something that is hard? Tax administration itself, I wouldn't call it hard, but it's unique because it's a service that we offer, which is different. Like right now, Uganda Revenue Authority, our mandate is primarily to collect tax for national development. So it is a monopoly. And our duty still as employees of URA is to see that we can ensure we have enough tax collected so as to support our economy. But taxation in itself is not difficult. Like I've talked about, if you have the right attitude, if you do things the right way, you have the correct skills. But above, you might have all these right skills, but an attitude which isn't very good. So if you have all, then the sky would be the limit. I'll also talk about integrity, because integrity is very key. You know, many times when we're doing interviews or jobs, trying to select from various people, there are those unspoken things that what distinguishes this person from another. They might all have the same skills, they might have done a written assessment and they've done probably almost the same, but what is it that distinguishes them from another? Attitude, things, those other soft skills, integrity, and integrity is seen. You don't have to scream it. People know, are you consistent in what you do? Do you do the right thing when you're meant to do it? How do you treat yourself and others? How do you carry yourself? And how do you treat others? If you're a leader, how do you treat your subordinates? If you tell them to come on time, do you come on time yourself? If you do, as in people, it's usually just like in families, the children or even the staff that we lead, they learn or do things mainly through mirroring, observing what you do. So it's important to also practice what you preach.
Yes. You mentioned earlier while we were conversing that most of your teammates are men.
Yes, they are.
Yes. How do you maneuver that sea of men?
Yes, they are.
Because it's a whole division and
Yes,
almost 3/4 of them are men.
Actually, before I even go to the division, in the management team,
Yes.
the lady, I think I was just appointed. Out of, we have a commissioner who is a male, and my colleagues were all male. Currently, I think we have another lady who is an acting assistant commissioner, but it's predominantly male. The team I'm leading right now, still, I have a team of 6 managers, they're all male.
Wow.
The supervisors below them are predominantly male. That's why I said at times you don't even think about it. You just realize later when you're seeing pics and all that, and you're like, okay, so you should know. It just comes naturally. You do not. How you manage is just being firm, being confident, and being knowledgeable in what you're doing, because if you're dealing with people who are very professional, they respect you or they believe in you if they know that you know what you're doing. So once they are convinced, or at least with the test of time, they know you're able to resolve problems and do all that, then they no longer look at you as the lady, but they accept you for their leader.
Yes, for the leadership, the knowledge, and your abilities.
To solve problems and all that.
I think that's beautiful. Do you have ladies you mentor?
Oh yes, I do.
Oh, you do both, which is also a beautiful thing.
I do, like probably not formally, but there are those that come to you and say you're my mentor. They ask you how you've done it. You encourage them when they have problems and tell them, guide them on how they should really go about various issues. Yes, I have a number of them. Yes.
So is there something specific you can point out and say, this is something, or this is someone I mentored, or this is something I have done and it has made me happy, it has made me who I am? Something that our audience can pick from.
Something that I've done that has made me happy. Okay, many times if you've been a leader and then you see that a number of the staff that you've led have also grown through the ranks, I think that's it's very fulfilling. Some are ladies, others are gents, and if I look back, I think a number of them have since grown to various ranks, and they come back, they say, see, I remember when I came, how you showed me this, how you did this and that. Or when they're about to do interviews, they usually come and we do mock sessions. And I think when I look back, that is very fulfilling, the fact that I've been either an inspiration or you've had a positive impact on some staff, and as a result, they've managed to grow their careers to higher positions of responsibility. Any parting shots I'd have for the audience? First of all, I'd like to thank you all for having given me this opportunity to be on this show and this episode of the Women in Tax and to share my experience. To the crew here, to Solomon, and to all of you, thank you so much. What I'd like to tell viewers is it's possible to make it in whatever direction that you want to go. You just need to have the zeal. You need to have the drive, and you need to have the determination. You need to know what you want to be. So if it's tax, then you can grow yourself in that area. Or if you feel you'd like to get experience in this particular field and then move on to another, so that you do just that. But it's important to be focused and steer yourself in the direction that you intend to achieve.
Thank you so much. It was good to have you on the show. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you very much.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.